For centuries, knowledge has been hidden in plain sight across the sands of time. Whispers of lost civilizations, cryptic symbols, and forbidden histories have been erased or concealed. What if the truth was never lost, but hidden? Welcome to Eye of Ancient Mysteries, where the past speaks and the future listens. Sit back, open your mind, and prepare to uncover the untold secrets of our world. Let the journey begin now. The Tree of Fireflies. They had moved back to live on the old farm where his grandfather had been born. His father loved it, but missed the friends he had left behind in the city. Sometimes cattle grazed on the barren, sandy hills beyond the barbed wire fence, but there were no neighbors there. He grew up in the old orchard that his grandfather had planted below the house, just thinking about the ripe fruits he expected to see. Apples, peaches, and pears made his mouth water, but when he looked at the trees, he was convinced they were either dead or dying. They bore no fruit. With no friends around, he stayed on the farm with his father, while his mother traveled each morning to the peanut processing plant where she worked. His father was always busy with the garden, which he tended between the bare fruit trees. The old wind pump had lost its blades, but they had an electric one. Around the fence, off to the side of the rows of tomatoes and beans, melons grew, along with overripe vines, and the corn was tall enough to hide the money plants. His mother worried that they might cause trouble, and once he heard her call them marijuana. But his father quickly hushed her. He didn't seem to like the word, despite its unclear meaning. One day, while his father was weeding and moving the irrigation pipes for the money plants, he discovered the Tree of Fireflies. At that time, it was still thin and barely reached his knee. Its leaves looked strange, slender, arrow-shaped heads of shiny black velvet with silver stripes. Its only flower had 3 broad sky blue petals and a gleaming yellow star in the center. He sat beside it, breathing in its strange fragrance, until his father arrived with the hoe. "Please don't hurt it," he shouted. "That stinking weed." His father grunted. "Get out of my way." Something made him grab the hoe. "All right." His father suddenly grinned and lowered the tool. "Since you like it so much." The little boy called it my tree and began watching it grow. When it started to wilt after a week without rain, he found a bucket and fetched water from the well. It grew, and soon it was taller than him. A dozen blue flowers appeared, then 100. Their scent spread through the garden. Since there was no school nearby, his mother tried to homeschool him. She found him a red-covered reader and a workbook with numbered pages to fill out while she was at work. But he rarely did his lessons. "He's always hanging around that damned weed," his father would mutter when she scolded him. "The smell of it is everywhere." The fragrance was indeed strange and strong, but not unpleasant. He liked it and loved his tree. He brought more water and used the hoe to loosen the soil around it. He often stood gazing at the huge blue blossoms, wondering what kind of fruit they would bear. One night he dreamed the tree was swarming with fireflies. They were so vivid he got out of bed and crept into the dark. Out there, the stars were brighter than anywhere above the city. They lit his way to the garden, and he heard the fireflies before he saw the tree. Their buzzing grew louder and sounded like ocean waves, a memory from visiting his aunt on the coast. Flickering brighter than the stars, they filled the branches. One of them flew to greet him. It circled in front of his face, lit the tip of his trembling finger, and smiled at him with bright blue eyes, the same color as the tree's blossoms. He had never seen a firefly so close. It was as big as a large bee, with tiny arms that clung to his fingernail, and its blue eyes darted about, studying his face. Light flowed from a ribbon around its head, flickering like something electric, green to red, yellow to blue, then back to red again. Sometimes its pulses were slower than his breathing, sometimes faster than his blinking. He thought they were trying to tell him something, but he couldn't understand. Barefoot and shivering, he stood there until the flickering stopped. The firefly shook its transparent wings and flew off. Dawn was breaking, the stars were fading, and when he looked at the tree, it seemed dark and still. He got back into bed before the clatter of dishes in the kitchen told him his mother was making breakfast. The next night, he dreamed he had returned to the tree, and the same firefly landed again on his finger. In the dream, her narrow face looked more human, and he understood the blinking of her voice. She told him how the tree had grown from a precisely aimed acorn that came from the stars and planted itself after crashing into Earth. She told him about the planet of the fireflies, far out in space. Its people were part of a great republic spread across the stars. Thousands of different civilizations lived in peace on thousands of different worlds. The acorn ship had arrived to invite Earth to join the republic. They were ready to teach humanity how to speak across space and travel to the stars. The dream was so wonderful that he decided to tell it at breakfast. "I told you so." His father reddened and shouted at his mother. "His brain's been poisoned by that damn weed. I should cut it down and burn it." "No, don't," he cried in terror. "I love it. I'll die if you kill it." "I'm afraid he might." His mother frowned sadly. "Leave the plant where it is. I'll take him to see Dr. Wang." "Fine, have it your way." His father finally nodded, glaring at him sternly. "But only if he promises to do his chores and stay out of the garden." Trying to keep his promise, he washed the dishes before his mother returned from work. He made the beds and cleaned the floors. He tried to study, but the readings from the red, covered book now seemed silly. He avoided the garden, but the fireflies came again in his dreams. They took him to see the shining forests of their wonderful world. They brought him to other planets where people lived beneath oceans. People who floated high in their skies, people small as ants, and others larger than the elephants he'd seen in the circus parade or the octopuses at the seaside show. He saw starships that flew faster than light, giant machines beyond his understanding, and cities more magical than fairy kingdoms. He told no one about the dreams until one day after work. His mother took him to see Dr. Wang. The nurse stuck a thermometer under his tongue and squeezed his arm with a rubber cuff, then left him and his mother waiting. Dr. Wang turned out to be a friendly man who listened to his chest, looked at the nurse's notes, and asked about the fireflies. "They're amazing!" He thought the doctor might believe him. "You should come at night and see them. They love us. They came to show us the way to the stars." "You hear that?" his mother exclaimed, who had never gone outside at night to see the glowing fireflies. "That awful weed has gotten into his head. An interesting case." The doctor smiled, patting him kindly on the shoulder, then turned to his mother. "Only for the textbooks. The boy should be seen by a psychiatrist." But she didn't have the money to follow through with the recommendation. "I'll take him home," she said. "Hopefully his condition will improve." When they got back, a police car was parked in front of their house. His father sat in the back seat, behind the metal screen, head bowed. He didn't lift it even when his mother called to him through the half-open window. More police cars were parked around the garden. The officers had cut the money plants down to the root and were piling them up. The Tree of Fireflies lay on top. Its fragrance was drowned by the smell of gasoline. One of the officers told everyone to step back and ignited the pile with a hissing torch. At first, the fire spread slowly, then flared so brightly that they had to move the car with his father further away. Feeling pain in his stomach, he saw the tree's branches curl and pulse within the flames. He heard a long, sharp shriek, probably just a cat caught in the fire. Another officer said, "But it wasn't a cat. Fireflies burst from the smoldering branches in swarms, and when the fire caught them, they exploded like tiny firecrackers." When the police took his father away, along with a bundle of money plants for evidence, he cried. Then his mother took him back to the city. At school again, he tried to tell his new teachers about the fireflies and their plan to invite Earth to join the great stellar republic. The teachers said he had a vivid imagination and sent him to the school psychologist. The psychologist called his mother in for a consultation. They asked him to forget about the fireflies, do his lessons, and reconnect with old friends. But he acknowledged no friends except the fallen visitors from the stars. He mourned them, was angry at his father, and bitter about everything that could have been.